Greetings, friends. You'll notice where I am here in a very familiar place to us at the altar of our church, and I want to talk to you about our homily series, which is the high priesthood of Jesus Christ. And last week we discussed the nature and the necessity and how essential it is for Christ to be our high priest. Today, I would like to talk to you about the ministerial priesthood. That is, the priesthood that Father Armando and I are as we here serve you at the church. The first thing to keep in mind is that the church has only one priest. Yes, one priest, and that is Jesus Christ. And whenever Father Armando or myself or any other priest is ministering here at the altar, we do so in persona Christi. In other words, I am not a priest in and of myself. I have been ordained to be Jesus Christ to you whenever I am administering the sacraments. Now, we have these vestments, and the whole idea of vestments is not so that we could look cool or look that much special in relationship to everyone else, okay? Like, look at me. It's the whole idea is to look at Jesus Christ and not me, okay? And so the first thing that we do, we actually have these vestments, often called ornaments, and we have these prayers that we say before we put them on to always remind us that it's Jesus Christ and not us up there. Okay, we wash our hands first, and there's a prayer. Give virtue to my hands, O Lord, that being cleansed from all stain, I might serve you with purity of mind and body. Who shall ascend the mountain of God? He who has a pure heart and clean hands. And then we put on what's called an alb. And you notice alb actually comes from the word in Latin, white. So the albs are always white. Pardon me, I'm not used to dressing in front of people, but I think this will work out, hopefully, And so we snap this in here and tie it up here. And the alb is white because it symbolizes purity. And the prayer we say while we're doing this is, purify me, Lord, and cleanse my heart, so that, washed in the blood of the Lamb, I may enjoy eternal bliss. Because Jesus is pure. He never sinned. And so it covers everything, okay? So we're covered with the purity of Christ. And then we have this. It's not a rope. It's called a cincture. And this cincture also represents purity, but specifically the purity of chastity, okay? And we put this on a little bit like this, here, like that, go like this, go like this, and make a little loop for what we will talk about in a minute here, but the prayer for the cincture is, Lord, gird me with the cincture of purity and extinguish my fleshly desires, that the virtue of continence and chastity may abide within me. And so the whole idea is that we rid ourselves as priests of concupiscence and be as chaste as Christ is chaste. Okay? So there we have this. And then sometimes we put this on. I discussed this earlier. Okay, this is called a maniple, and what this is, as I discussed before, a symbol of the fact that Jesus is always serving us, and this is his table, and he is serving us, and so kind of like drying, washing the dishes, and that sort of thing, as a servant, because a servant would always come with a towel over his arm, okay? And the prayer for that is, may I deserve, O Lord, to bear the maniple of weeping and sorrow in order that I may joyfully reap the rewards of my labors. We are a servant to you. Christ is our servant in that way, okay, as we see in the Gospels. And then we put the stole on. The stole is the stole of authority, the authority of Christ, and we always kiss the cross that's on the stole. Like this, and we put it over here as we prepare ourselves. And that's why we made a loop, so you can put this in here so that it doesn't flap around, okay? And the stole prayer is, Lord, restore the stole of immortality which I lost through the collusion of our first parents, and unworthy as I am to approach thy sacred mysteries, may I yet gain eternal joy. And lastly, we have what's called the chasuble. And the chasuble covers everything. And the chasuble represents charity, the love of Christ for his people. And that's why we put this on like this, okay? And the prayer for the chasuble is, O Lord, who has said, my yoke is sweet and my burden light, grant that I may so carry it as to merit thy grace. Okay, again, I said this before, we don't put this get-up on, so that we can pose for Only magazine, or which is a clerical magazine. They always have these real good-looking guys on there to do it. But anyways, the whole point is this. It's all about Jesus Christ and his priesthood. And it's not about us as individuals, although we are, in fact, ordained to be this in a special ordination. But in and of ourselves, we are nothing. But as we come before you, we come before you as Jesus Christ in the congregation. Why is that? Because Jesus wants to be close to us, always close to us. He's close to us in the sacraments. He's close to us as in our priest as well. So that's the ministerial priesthood. And this is very important to understand, that there's only one priest, and that's Jesus Christ. And he's present to us in his ministerial priest. I would like to speak of you of a rather sad event, and that is the departure of my friend Karen Spivey from the staff here at St. Joseph. Karen and I were friends back in 2014 when we first came here, where she took me to the Big Belly Deli. Yes, I never get that right. And she introduced me to those wonderful sandwiches over there, and we worked together on staff when I was on staff, and as her pastor here, we worked closely together. And in my mind, we have really accomplished a lot working together. Karen Spivey is a woman of prayer, and she came on as Director of Mission Support because she prayed about it, and God told her to do it. And she always told me that she'll stay as long as the Holy Spirit wanted her to be here, and the Holy Spirit told her that this is time for her to move on. So I just want to give a big thanks to Karen, and be sure to say hi to her and greet her and thank her when you see her in church. God bless you.